Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Warframe. Today, we are going to be talking about the new endless Kuva missions that we just got. They are very interesting, and I want to discuss them. I want to talk about like what it is, how DE has managed to create them, the rewards. I want to talk about the team comps, and then I want to hear your feedback in the comment section. So let's get into it. So these missions are located on Teviuni. It's the survival node on the Kuva Fortress. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, it's a single node. They don't move around at all like the normal Kuva missions. So it's going to be uh, it's going to be a lot less annoying to find it, which is nice. It's very similar to an excavation mission, but it's a little bit quicker. You move around a little bit more. It's 1 minute, I think, per extractor versus the minute 40 seconds per excavator in regular excavation missions. So that means that you're going to be running around a lot more. It's going to be a lot more mobile than the regular excavation missions, which is very nice. I appreciate that. Excavation missions are kind of uh, they don't really flow too well, and these ones are a lot quicker, which I like a lot. Um, so let's talk about the rewards. So the rates seem pretty similar from what I can tell to doing just regular Kuva missions over and over again, not including doing flood missions. If you're doing the Kuva floods, you're probably going to be getting a lot more Kuva. So as far as rates go, it seems pretty comparable to just doing regular Kuva missions. You get 200 per extractor, and they're limited to the rate that the life support modules spawn in. If you don't know, the way that you get these extractors is the Lotus will put in a life support module, and then you can pick up these Kuva crystals or catalysts, or I think they're called, that are dropped by certain enemies, and then you just put them into the life support module, and it becomes an extractor. So the only way that you can get these, they don't spawn at a different rate than the life support modules because they are the life support modules. So it's kind of fixed at that rate. And what I've noticed is that you're only really going to be having one going on at a time because there's only going to be one life support module like up at a time. And that will be the Kuva extractor that you're doing. There is no ramp up in the rewards, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. On the one hand, I always want to be getting more stuff, and I want there to be a reason for players to stay like 3 hours in an endless Kuva mission, and get like an insane amount of Kuva because that's cool. Encouraging like pushing yourself and pushing your Warframe's limits. That's always, I think, a very good thing. But on the other hand, currently it seems that the endless mission is kind of an alternative to doing the regular Kuva missions, which is very interesting for a lot of reasons. It's very good like game design wise because you don't have just one mission that you're doing, or I guess like one type of mission that you're doing over and over and over again. If you get really bored of the endless missions, you can just do the regular missions, and you won't be really missing out on any Kuva. The rates seem very similar from what I can tell. And so if you get tired of doing the regular missions and you just want to do like stay in a mission for like an hour and get a bunch of Kuva, you can do that, and the rates will be like similar. So it gives you an alternative. What I don't know is if they want it to be like that, or if they want to make the endless missions more for like getting an absolute truck ton of Kuva, and then have the regular missions for just like getting like small increments, like doing it like quick Kuva, you know. Whereas if you stay in the endless mission for like an hour, the rewards start ramping up a lot more. I feel like that would be good, but at the same time, I feel like that would become like the only way that you're supposed to get the Kuva missions. I don't know if that would be the case, but I'm not really sure how I feel about that. If I want there to be ramp up, or if there shouldn't be ramp up. As a player, I would hope that they would add like more rewards the farther you get into it. But game design wise, I'm not so sure. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. I'm very interested to see. It's an interesting question. So let's talk about some team comps. I have been playing these missions a bit. I've played a couple of them. The longest one I stayed in was 40 minutes. It was not too bad. So I've only been playing Necros, but I definitely recommend playing him. We haven't had any life support woes at all ever when I've been playing Necros. There is like you never need to pop a life support capsule, so you can dedicate all of them to getting Kuva, which is very good. That increases your efficiency. I'm not sure if they have changed the way that life support works in the specific mission, but if they haven't, then I would definitely recommend bringing a Necros, because he is very good for getting life support. You never have to pop any life support capsules ever, which is very nice, and you get all of the loot, which is also very good. Hydroid is also an option here. I wouldn't recommend him over Necros. I think Necros just gets more loot, and he is better at doing that than Hydroid is. Hydroid does provide some benefits, though. His Tentacle Swarm really shuts down a lot of corridors, and there are a ton of like really tight corridors in the Kuva Fortress. So he could be very good. If you want to double up on Necros and Hydroid, that's like totally fine. You'll get an insane amount of loot. That's definitely an option. I would also recommend bringing a defensive frame such as Frost, Gara, Volt, maybe even a Limbo, though I would definitely recommend using a very small Cataclysm instead of a big one, because if you're freezing time with Limbo, your teammates might not be able to kill stuff as quickly with their melee weapons. And in that case, you might actually run out of life support if you can't keep up the rate of killing. So I would definitely recommend using a very small Cataclysm. Just stick that on the capsule and then just leave it, you know. But yeah, the rest of them, like Frost, Gara, Volt, those are all very good. You don't need them. They're not necessary. I don't think I've ever had any of those frames in my runs, and they've been all successful, but it's very nice to have a defensive frame there, just protecting the pod, because that way you don't feel like you have to kill like everything super quick, because the extractors don't have a lot of health. They only have like 400 health, or 600 or something, so they're pretty weak, and you kind of have to babysit them a lot. But with a defensive frame, it kind of leaves you open to go out more, which is, it's nice. Some other optional stuff, you can probably bring a DPS frame. The enemy spawns in this mission are pretty high. Like, there's a lot of enemies that spawn. So bringing like a Sarin or a Maim Equinox or a Mesa or an Octavia or another DPS frame would definitely be a good thing to do, if your weapons aren't strong enough to kill like a ton of them. I've been using my Skoliak, which has been able to clear out a lot of enemies really quickly. But if you don't have like a Skoliak with a Riven on it, I would definitely recommend bringing a DPS frame of some sort, because there are a lot of enemies. Another optional thing to bring is a CC frame, like a Nova, possibly Vauban, although I do hesitate to recommend him, because as I've gone on in these missions, my frame rate seems to tank a lot, dropping down to like 40 FPS, and I have a very powerful computer, like a GTX 1070 graphics card, i7 7700 core, 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and my frames are dropping to like around 40 by the 40-minute mark. It's very frame intensive, this mission seems to be, and Vauban definitely will not help that. So if you have a weaker PC, probably don't get into a squad with a Vauban because your PC might explode. But like a Slova would be very good just to slow everything down, get that damage bonus, because the enemies are quite tanky as you get up there. As well, you could definitely bring a support frame like a Trinity or a Haro, maybe even Oberon if you need the extra health. The only reason you would need to bring this though is the energy, really. Necros, he just creates so many life orbs that you don't really need the healing unless you're going like for a really long mission. But the Trinity or the Haro for just the extra energy is probably a useful thing. So if you want to bring that, you definitely that's a good thing to bring. There are maybe some other frames that I'm not thinking of right now. Let me know what your favorite frame to bring in this is. Mine is definitely Necros, just because you get all of the loot, all of the life support. It's very easy to complete the mission that way. I want to point out that Nidus does not heal the extractors with his 4. This is like the same as the excavation missions. Nidus will not heal the excavators in regular excavation missions. He does not heal the Kuva extractors in the endless Kuva mission. So I definitely would not bring Nidus unless you want to use him as a DPS frame. Which he definitely is very capable of doing that, since there are a lot of corridors where you can just send his 1 through and destroy a bunch of enemies. But yeah, that's my rundown on the mission itself and the game mode. I want to know you guys' thoughts on it. I think it's a pretty good addition. I'm glad that they added it. That's a lot better than just having to run like Kuva missions over and over and over. You get really burnt out on those after a while. So I'm glad that they added this. I want to talk what the heck am I saying? I want to talk briefly about my channel and stuff. I haven't been playing a ton of Warframe. That's why my content has been lacking the past couple weeks. Jeez, I'm losing my ability to speak here. But yeah, I haven't really been playing too much Warframe. I've been playing other games, experimenting. So I might start doing content for other games. I kind of want to diversify my game pool on my channel because I don't play as much Warframe as I used to. And it's just because I've played it for so long, I kind of get bored a lot. So yeah, expect to see other games possibly in the future, maybe other people featured in those videos. But yeah, I just want to put that out there. Thank you guys so much. Leave your feedback on all of the stuff that I mentioned in the video. Thank you guys for so much support. The amount of subscribers we're gaining is crazy, even with me not posting any videos. It's absolutely ridiculous. I really appreciate all of the people who have subscribed, all of the people who watch the videos and like and comment and whatnot. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you all later. Peace.